Hello everyone, welcome to MemoNeet. This is Aprajita, your chemistry SME. How are you all doing? I hope everyone is doing good. So students, how was your BPT 7? I hope you did well in that. The thermodynamics part is clear. So we did thermodynamics in the last lecture also, and I hope you people got good marks. In case you are having any doubts, you can ask us. Okay, you can comment on the YouTube comment section, or else you can ask us through the Telegram channel. Okay, so today, as you can see, I am back with another chapter, which is redox reactions. So for BPT 8, which is going to be held on next Sunday, we are having two chapters, that is redox reactions and chemical kinetics. Both of these are small but yet important chapters. Okay, see, in NEET examination, redox reactions is like clubbed with electrochemistry. All right, so you must know both of them there. And today I am going to complete this redox reaction in one lecture. Okay, because the topics here that we are having, they are less and we can cover them in one lecture. Okay, so try to watch this lecture carefully, take the notes side by side. All right, because I am going to start with the very basics ki what are redox reactions, what is meant by oxidation reduction, then we will be talking about oxidation number concept, which is important, and then most importantly the balancing of the redox reaction that can be asked in your NEET examination. So all of these we are going to cover in today's lecture. See, so basically if I talk about redox reactions, तो redox का मतलब होता है reduction plus oxidation, right? So the word itself is coming from these two words, RED redox, RED and OX. So it becomes redox. All right. So if we want to study redox reactions, firstly we must be clear with what is the meaning of oxidation and reduction, right? So in that case, we need to see ki what was oxidation and reduction in classical terms, right? Ki earlier what was the classical idea of the oxidation and reduction? So earlier students, it was thought that the oxidation means, as the word oxidation itself it's suggesting, that the meaning of oxidation is addition of oxygen. All right, कि if any substance may, if any element or any substance is adding up or oxygen, means oxygen is getting added to it, we call it as oxidation. Like here, magnesium reacts with oxygen to form magnesium oxide. Okay, because substances actually uh, react with oxygen very much because oxygen is readily present in our environment. So whenever oxygen gets added up to something, we call it as oxidation. All right, and similarly it was thought that addition of hydrogen is the reduction. So as you can see here, hydrogen and chlorine are reacting with each other and we are getting HCl. So means there is addition of hydrogen. All right, addition of hydrogen to chlorine. So it means I can say that here chlorine is getting reduced, reduction of chlorine is happening. All right, but it can be reverse also, right? That if removal of hydrogen takes place from any substance, like if HCl is broken down to give hydrogen and chlorine, here I can say that hydrogen is getting removed from here. So this is oxidation of HCl. Whereas in the case of reduction, again removal of oxygen will be the one. Okay, means they are opposite of each other. Ki removal of oxygen happens, so it is known as reduction. Like in this particular reaction, we are having 2H2O gives 2H2 plus O2. Now look at this reaction. We can consider this reaction in such a way ki what is happening, that here removal of oxygen is happening, right? Removal of oxygen from hydrogen, but so that's what we can say as reduction. Okay, this is not oxidation, reduction. Oh, reduction and oxidation both you can say. So because there is removal of oxygen also, and from this case I can say there is removal of hydrogen also. All right, so it means that in the same reaction oxidation and reduction are happening simultaneously. So such reactions where oxidation and reduction happen simultaneously, we call them as redox reaction, क्योंकि यहाँ पर water की oxidation भी हो रही है and reduction भी हो रही है. Okay, because if I see the product hydrogen, there is a loss of oxygen and यहाँ पर there is loss of hydrogen. But students, this idea of addition of oxygen, removal of hydrogen, or addition of hydrogen, removal of oxygen could not explain all the reactions. Okay, so in that case we have another definition for oxidation and reduction. So let us see what is that. So, all right. So here we have oxidation and reduction, another classical definition. So it's just not the oxygen, but addition of any electronegative element if it is happening, or removal of electropositive element if it is happening, we will be calling it as oxidation. Okay. Like you can see the examples that I have taken here. Magnesium is reacting with fluorine, chlorine, and sulfur. So there is addition of electronegative elements, that is fluorine, chlorine, and sulfur. So it means magnesium is the one that is undergoing oxidation in this case, because there is addition of electronegative element. So magnesium is undergoing oxidation. Now in the next reaction you can see that here there is a loss of potassium. All right, and potassium is an electropositive element, we know that, right? It's an alkali metal, and alkali metals are electropositive. So whenever there is loss of any electronegative or electropositive element, we call it as oxidation. So here potassium ferrocyanide is getting converted to potassium ferricyanide. So here loss of potassium means this is getting oxidized. So oxidation is happening. All right. Okay, now if I talk about reduction, again reverse of that, opposite of oxidation, you can see here. In case of reduction, there will be addition of electropositive element, but there will be removal of electronegative element. Like here in this case, there is a removal of chlorine. Chlorine is getting removed from ferric chloride to give ferrous chloride. All right. So if there is removal of electronegative element, it means ferric chloride is getting reduced here. Okay. So reduction is happening. Similarly, in ethene, there is addition of hydrogen. So addition of hydrogen means reduction is happening. Okay, or any other electropositive element can be there, like you can see in this case addition of mercury is happening to mercuric chloride. So addition of mercury, which is again a metal, which is electropositive element, so it means it is again undergoing reduction. Okay, so you have to understand this, that now it is not just about oxygen or hydrogen, it is about electronegative and electropositive elements. So that's the example that you can see here. We have taken all the examples. So now the next thing is we must know the next concept, that is the important one, electronic concept. So oxidation and reduction are not just related to the addition or like removal of any element, but we need to talk about in the terms of electron transfer. Okay, now just look at these reactions. Sodium is reacting with chlorine to form sodium chloride. It's reacting with oxygen to form sodium oxide, and here sodium sulfide. So what we can see is that these are ionic compounds also, like sodium and chlorine, Na positive, Cl negative. Here I am having 2 Na positive and O2 negative. Again here I am having 2 Na positive and S2 negative. So from here I can see that there is something more than addition and removal of atom, that is there is electron transfer. You know that ionic compounds, we have studied about ionic bonding, right, in our chemical bonding chapter. So ionic compounds are formed by the transfer of electrons. Yes. So it means that if sodium is getting converted to Na positive, there must be some loss of electron. Okay. So here let's see the first reaction. 2Na plus Cl2 gives 2Na positive, Cl negative. So let's say if I am talking about Na, so sodium will lose an electron and will get converted to sodium ion. So here two atoms are there. I can write 2 and 2 electrons, means 1 electron for each atom. Now this chlorine, now chlorine what it will do? So here I am having chlorine gas, it's a molecule. So it will dissociate, it will gain 2 electrons, and each chlorine atom will gain 1 electron each, and it will convert to chloride ion. So these reactions are known as the half reactions. Okay. Now I will add them up. This 2 electrons will cancel out and I will get the resultant equation. 2Na plus Cl2 gives 2Na positive and Cl negative. Okay, of course 2 here will be there. So this is how we can explain that there is loss of electron and gain of electron that is happening. All right. In the same way, here in sodium oxide, sodium is losing electron, oxygen is gaining, and here sodium is losing electron again, and sulfur is gaining those electron. So it means that all of these things have something in common, that is loss or gain of electrons. So in terms of oxidation and reduction, how I can explain that is, whenever loss of electron is happening, okay, keep that in mind, that whenever loss of electron is happening, it means oxidation is happening. So oxidation can be described as loss of electrons, okay, whereas whenever gain of electron is happening, so it is reduction. So reduction is the process of that involves gain of electron. Let's go to our reactions again. So in this case, you can see sodium is the one that is losing electrons in all the reactions. All right. It means that sodium is the one that is getting oxidized, or it is undergoing oxidation, whereas chlorine, sulfur, or oxygen are the ones that are gaining electrons. Okay, so if they are gaining electrons, they are the ones getting reduced or undergoing reduction. All right, so one is getting oxidized, this one is getting oxidized, okay, oxidation, and chlorine is getting reduced means reduction. So ban gaya na ye redox reaction, right? So it has become redox reaction because there is oxidation and reduction simultaneously in one reaction happening. Now I hope you are clear with the meaning of oxidation and reduction now. Now there are two terms that we have, oxidizing agent and reducing agent. So agent matlab oxidizing agent means the one that is helping in oxidation of another substance. Okay. And similarly, reducing agent is the one which is helping in the reduction of another substance. So if I talk about oxidizing agent, तो इस reaction में जो खुद reduce हो रहा है, right? Chlorine is getting reduced, right? तो it is gaining the electrons that sodium is losing. अगर chlorine electron gain कर रहा है तभी sodium की oxidation हो रही है, right? तभी वो electron lose कर रहा है. तो chlorine is the one that is helping in the oxidation of sodium. So chlorine will be the oxidizing agent. Okay. And same goes with sodium. अगर मैं sodium की बात करूँ, it is losing electrons ना, it is itself getting oxidized, then only chlorine is able to gain the electrons and get reduced, right? तो it means if sodium is losing electron, तभी दूसरा atom यहाँ पर क्लोरीन या ऑक्सीजन या सल्फर वो इलेक्ट्रॉन गेन कर पा रहा है. तो जो इलेक्ट्रॉन लूज कर रहा है उसकी वजह से दूसरा एटम इलेक्ट्रॉन गेन कर पा रहा है. सो द वन दैट इज गेटिंग ऑक्सीडाइज्ड, इट इज हेल्पिंग इन द रिडक्शन ऑफ अनदर सब्सटेंस. तो सोडियम इज द वन दैट इज द reducing agent in all the reactions. Okay, so you need to understand it that sodium, which is oxidized, acts as the reducing agent because it donates electron to each elements interacting with it and helps them in reducing them. Okay, chlorine, sulfur, oxygen are getting reduced and they are acting as oxidizing agent because they are accepting the electrons from sodium. So this is the most important table that you need to understand. Okay, here this one, this is the very important table. Oxidation means loss of electron by any species, reduction means gain of electrons by any species. Okay, so oxidizing agent will be the one that is acceptor of electrons, means the one that is getting reduced. Okay, and reducing agent वो होगा जो इलेक्ट्रॉन डोनेट करेगा, मीन्स द वन दैट इज गेटिंग ऑक्सीडाइज्ड. सो ये आपको पता होना चाहिए कि ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट विल बी द एक्सेप्टर ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स एंड रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट विल बी द donor of electron. So we can see some more examples for this reaction. So here we can see competitive electron transfer reaction. Now what does that mean? Let us understand. So here students, what we have taken is, we have taken a zinc rod and placed it in a copper sulfate solution. Okay, so you know copper sulfate is blue, sorry, copper nitrate, it is blue in color. Okay, so after some time what you will observe that a brown color copper is getting deposited over the zinc rod, and the color or the blue color of the copper nitrate is getting faded. Okay, you can see that the intensity of blue color, it is reduced, and ultimately what will happen, you will get a colorless solution. Okay, and all the copper will get deposited on the zinc rod. Now why it is happening in this particular reaction, because I can say that we are taken zinc and we have taken copper nitrate. So zinc is going to displace copper from copper nitrate, and we will be getting zinc nitrate, and we will be getting copper metal, and this copper is getting deposited over the zinc rod. Now if I want to write the ionic equation for this reaction is, earlier we were having zinc and copper ions. Okay, Cu2 plus ions, cupric ions were there. So what happened is that zinc ions lost electrons and they got converted to Zn2 plus, and copper ions gained those two electrons, means they undergo reduction to form copper, and here zinc ions undergo oxidation. All right. So, but if I take reverse of this reaction now, let's say if I take copper rod and dip it in some zinc solution, so the reaction will not happen. Okay. So that is in accordance to the electrochemical series that we have also studied. But in this case, you can say the equilibrium will favor the formation of zinc ions in this particular reaction. So as more and more zinc ions are getting formed, copper ions are getting converted to copper. That is why the blue color of the solution is getting faded. Okay. Similarly, we can do one more reaction. So here copper rod we have dipped in the silver nitrate. If I dip copper rod in zinc solution, then nothing will happen. But if I dip it in silver nitrate solution, again, now from color, it was colorless. So from colorless, the blue color starts developing, and the intensity of the blue color will increase, and silver will get deposited on the rod. All right. So what is going to happen in this case, again copper metal will undergo oxidation. It will lose two electrons to convert to copper ions. Okay, and those copper ions start going into the solution, and silver metal gets depositing on the copper rod, because silver ions will gain electrons, means they will undergo reduction to form silver. Again, now here why this is happening, so we can say that the reactivity will be following this order: zinc, then copper, then silver. Okay, so this we can talk about it for other metals as well in the electrochemical series. So you have already studied about electrochemical series. Okay, so that is why basically we are doing these reactions. So they are also redox reactions, because loss and gain of electrons are happening. That's why we have taken these examples. Okay, so now I hope ki oxidation and reduction is clear to all of you. Now the another important thing is the oxidation number. See, so whenever some reaction happens, we say ki complete transfer of electrons is happening. Okay, we are actually thinking कि complete transfer of electrons is happening. So oxidation number is a way to explain that transfer of electrons, कि how many electrons are transferred from which atom to which atom in the product. Alright, so to ascertain that or to describe that clearly, we have this oxidation number thing. So oxidation number actually denotes the oxidation state of the element. See, if you have written oxidation number या oxidation state पे लिखा होगा, one and the same thing. Okay, in a compound ascertained according to a set of rules formulated on the basis that electron pair in a covalent bond belong entirely to the more electronegative element. Let's say if I am talking about HCl. Okay, so in HCl, you know that chlorine has a partial negative charge and hydrogen has partial positive charge, because chlorine is more electronegative. Okay, we know these charges are partial. In covalent, of course, it's a covalent bond. But when we are talking about the oxidation number, we are actually assuming, okay, we can say we are actually assuming that the electron pair, the shared electron pair, is entirely it is belonging to the chlorine atom. So if I am talking about the oxidation state or oxidation number, so here chlorine will have -1 and hydrogen will have +1. Although this is not true, electron pair is shared, partial charge is there, but I told you कि whenever we are talking about reactions, so we consider complete transfer of electrons. So that is why in this case hydrogen will have an oxidation number of +1, because say let's say it has lost one electron, means both the electrons are present with chlorine. So chlorine has one extra electron with it, so it will be having -1 charge. Okay. So that's what the meaning oxidation number is. Now students, if I am talking about the rules, so there are certain set of rules that we have for writing the oxidation number. Now this is something important because we are studying oxidation number for the first time. So we must know ki what are the rules that are used to write the oxidation number. So the first rule is that in the free or uncombined state, each atom bears an oxidation number of 0. Like if I'm talking about the elements, so you know hydrogen gas exists as H2. So this H2 molecule has both the hydrogen atom. So in this case there will be no transfer of electron pair is shared equally. So we will say ki in this case the oxidation state or oxidation number of hydrogen would be 0. Same goes with O2, Cl2, O3, because same elements are there, right? P4, S8. Now, if I talk about free state of the element, so let's say if sodium is present in its free state, if in any reaction you are getting the product as sodium metal, so it means the oxidation number of that sodium metal would be 0 because it is in free state, it has not combined with anything, so no transfer of electron has happened. If no transfer of electron has happened, we can't assign a positive or a negative charge to it. Okay, like sodium, magnesium, aluminum, if they are present in free state. So that you need to understand. All right, that is the first rule. Now moving on to the second one. The second rule here states for ions composed of only one atom. Now if I am having monoatomic ion, of course that is what is meant by for ions composed of only one atom. Now oxidation number is equal to the charge on the ion. Let's say if I am having Na positive ion, so Na positive ka oxidation number would be 1, right? Similarly, if I am talking about Mg2 positive, so Mg2 positive के लिए oxidation number is Fe3. Now, so chlorine Cl minus. So if I am having Cl minus, so in that case, the oxidation number will be -1. O2 negative, the oxidation number will be -2. Okay, so you know that alkali metals, they form they lose only one electron, right? So it means all the alkali metals will have an oxidation state of +1 or oxidation number of +1. Whereas all the alkaline earth metals कौन से होते हैं class? The group 2 elements. So alkaline earth metals, they will have an oxidation number of +2 because they lose 2 electrons, right? And so on. And like if I'm talking about aluminium, which is in group 13, so aluminium will be having +3 oxidation state, oxidation number. Okay. Now the next thing is students, if I am talking about certain elements, so those certain elements, they actually show different types of this thing, your oxidation numbers. So if I am having this oxygen के लिए you know that it gains 2 electrons and it carries 2 minus charge. Okay, so students, for most of the compounds, the oxidation number of oxygen will be -2. Okay, but there are different kinds of compounds formed by oxygen which are known as peroxides and superoxides. So in peroxides and superoxides, what happens is there is oxygen atoms, they are linked to each other. So you have to keep that in mind in peroxides like hydrogen peroxide, sodium peroxide, oxygen atom will have an oxidation number of -1, whereas in superoxides like KO2, RbO2, the oxidation number will be -1/2. See, so the oxidation number can be positive, negative, or can be in fraction as well, can be 0 also. So these are the 3 rules. I hope it's clear. Now there is second exception for oxygen also. Now you know ki if like let's say oxygen is bonded to hydrogen or it is bonded to carbon. So in that case oxygen is the one which is more electronegative. So oxygen will be assigned an oxidation number of -2. But let's say if it is combined with fluorine, like oxygen difluoride or dioxygen difluoride we have. So in that case fluorine is the one which is more electronegative, okay? Fluorine is more electronegative than oxygen. So in that case, what will happen? The fluorine will be the one which will be getting an oxidation number of -1. So if fluorine is having -1, so oxygen will have +2 in this case and +1 in this case. Okay. So in that case, the oxidation number of oxygen will become positive. So that's what the exceptions are. Okay. Don't like say ki every time it will be -2. There are some exceptions when oxygen is attached to more electronegative element. So that electronegative element which is fluorine, of course, because fluorine is the one which is most electronegative in our periodic table, so it will get the negative oxidation number and oxygen will be positive. Okay, now same goes with hydrogen. Now hydrogen always have this oxidation number of +1 in most of the cases, but let's say if it is bonded to metals in binary compounds, let's say if I am having lithium hydride, sodium hydride or calcium hydride, so in this or in these compounds metals are the ones that are more electropositive than hydrogen, okay, or hydrogen is more electronegative. So in that case, the oxidation number for hydrogen would be -1 because it is more electronegative than the metal, and metal will have a positive oxidation number. Okay. Now same goes with fluorine. I told you fluorine has oxidation number of -1 in all the compounds because it is most electronegative element. But if I am talking about other halogens, they also have an oxidation number of -1 when they occur as halides. But when they combine with oxo acids like HClO is there, HClO2 is there, HBrO2 is there. So in that case, the halogens or your chlorine, bromine will have positive oxidation numbers also. Okay. Next. So the algebraic sum of oxidation number of all the elements in the compounds must be 0. Okay, let's say if I am having a neutral compound, so carbon dioxide only let's take, or let's take H2SO4. Also in this case, let's say I have to find the oxidation number of sulfur. So for hydrogen 2 atoms, +1 is the oxidation number. For sulfur I have taken X. For oxygen 4 into -2. Now what will be the sum? Sum will be 0 because it's a neutral molecule. It is not having any charge as a whole. तो for यहाँ से हम निकाल लेंगे 2 + x - 8 = 0. So x will be 8 - 2. So x will be +6. So means the oxidation number of sulfur will be +6 in this case. But if I am having some charges, okay, so in that case algebraic sum will be equal to the charge. Let's say if I'm having carbonate ion. So carbonate ion mein when I am doing the sum, let's say I have to find for carbon +3 into oxygen. Now the sum will be equal to -2 because the charge is -2 in this case. Okay, so for the polyatomic ions, that sum will be equal to the charge present on the ions. Keep that in mind. All right. So this is what we have understood by the idea of oxidation number. So now we can define oxidation and reduction, oxidizing agent and reducing agent by the idea of oxidation number. As it is changing to Fe3+. So the oxidation number is changing from +2 to +3. So it means iron is losing an electron, and loss of electron means oxidation. So it means whenever oxidation will happen, the oxidation number will increase. Okay. Same goes with reduction. So reduction means a decrease in oxidation number of the element. Let's say your zinc 2+ ions are changing to Zn. So in this case the oxidation number is decreasing from +2 to 0. Right. So in that case what will happen? Reduction is happening. Gain of electron is happening. Now that reagent, like I told you, the reagent that causes oxidation. तो अब oxidation क्या है? Increase in oxidation number. तो means the reagent that can increase the oxidation number of the element will be called oxidizing agent. So class, keep that in mind. These words will be used further also. Oxidants and reductants. So oxidizing agent को हम oxidant भी बोलेंगे. Means it will itself get reduced, उसका खुद का oxidation number कम हो जाएगा because it is getting reduced, but it can increase the oxidation number of the another element. Okay, means it can oxidize that element, so that's why it is called oxidizing agent or oxidant. Now same thing goes with the reducing agent, a reagent which lowers the oxidation number of the element. Okay, means itself it will get oxidized, उसका खुद का oxidation number बढ़ जाएगा, but it will lower the oxidation number of the another element. So that is reducing agent, and we will be calling it as reductant also. So this information about oxidation, reduction, oxidation number के साथ relate करना, this is very important. Okay, so overall redox reactions are the ones which involve change in oxidation number of the इंटरेक्टिंग स्पीशीज की अगर ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर बढ़ रहा है, कम हो रहा है, so that's what we call as the redox reaction. Now redox reactions can be of different types. Okay, you have studied all the reactions earlier as well, but now we will be studying them as redox reaction कि जहां पर ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर बढ़ या कम रहा है. Okay, तो combination reaction, you know that where two or more than two reactants combine to form a single product. Okay, बट यहाँ पर एक कंडीशन है कि ईदर ऑफ द रिएक्टेंट्स और बोथ ऑफ द रिएक्टेंट्स मस्ट बी इन एलिमेंटल फॉर्म. अगर वो एलिमेंटल फॉर्म में होंगे तभी हम इस कॉम्बिनेशन रिएक्शन को रिडॉक्स रिएक्शन बोलेंगे. ओके, सो या तो एक रिएक्टेंट या दोनों ही रिएक्टेंट, एटलीस्ट वन रिएक्टेंट मस्ट बी इन एलिमेंटल फॉर्म. कीप दैट इन माइंड. ओके, तो all combustion reactions which are using elemental dioxygen, क्योंकि combustion reaction में क्या हो रहा है, elemental dioxygen is used. Okay, so they are redox reaction. For example, यहाँ पर दिया है carbon plus oxygen gives CO2. So the oxidation number of carbon and oxygen are 0 because they are in their elemental state. So for carbon it is increasing to +4 and for oxygen it is decreasing to -2. So this is a redox reaction. Then magnesium and nitrogen to form magnesium nitride. यहाँ पर भी the oxidation number of magnesium is +2 and nitrogen is -3. So this is an example of redox reaction. Okay. Now decomposition reactions, opposite of combination reaction, where we have a particular reactant, it will break down into two or more than two components. Again, जो दो या दो से ज्यादा component बन रहे हैं, at least one of them must be in the elemental state. Then we will be calling it as redox reaction. Okay. For example, the decomposition of water. So for water, it's given +1 as the oxidation number for hydrogen and -2 for oxygen. तो जब ये hydrogen and oxygen gas में change रहा है, so it is changing to 0. Same goes with sodium hydride. Then we have potassium chlorate to KClO3. So here also it is changing to KCl and oxygen. तो देखो, one of the product which is oxygen is in the elemental state ना. So that is the another example of decomposition reaction. Now we have displacement. So you have already studied कि displacement reaction are the ones where a compound, an element, or you can say an ion in a compound is replaced by another ion of the another element. Means more reactive से वो displace हो जाता है. Like x plus yz will give you xz plus y, or a plus bc, like that. So दो type के, we have two types of these reactions. Metal displacement means a metal in a compound can be displaced by another metal, and that another metal is in uncombined state. This reaction we have just seen, right? So उसमें of course we took copper nitrate, but one and the same thing कि यहाँ पर copper ions हैं, वहाँ पर भी copper ions थी, and zinc replaced actually the copper ions. Okay, तो zinc ने copper ions को displace किया, and copper का oxidation number जो है वो कम हो गया, and zinc का बढ़ गया. Means zinc got oxidized and copper ions got reduced. This is what we studied now. So copper ions got reduced and zinc got oxidized. So इसको हम बोलेंगे oxidation half reaction and this one is the reduction half reaction. Same goes with another example, calcium is displacing vanadium in this case, all right. So then we have non-metal displacement. So non-metal displacement में आ जाते हैं which includes hydrogen displacement, okay, and oxygen displacement, like these kind of reactions. So like all alkali metals and some alkaline earth metals, which are very good reducing agents. You know that alkali metals and alkaline earth metals are reducing agents. Why they are reducing agents? Because they can lose electron easily. Like if I'm having sodium, so it can readily lose electron, मीन्स इट कैन गेट ऑक्सीडाइज्ड इजीली, इसीलिए वो दूसरे सब्सटेंस को इजीली रिड्यूस कर देगा, इलेक्ट्रॉन प्रोवाइड कर देगा, राइट. So it's a good reducing agent or a good reductant. So here you can see the displacement of hydrogen is happening by sodium and by calcium. Okay. So these are the examples of non-metal displacement, which are your redox reaction also. Another one which is very important is disproportionation reaction. These are the ones in which an element in one oxidation state is simultaneously oxidized and reduced. कि एक ही element, okay, simultaneous oxidation reduction होती है, but for for different elements, right? एक element oxidize होगा, one element get reduced. But whenever there is simultaneous oxidation reduction of one element only, like in this reaction, we have hydrogen peroxide. So hydrogen has an oxidation state of +1. Okay. And what is happening in this case? Oxygen has an oxidation state of -1. Okay. So if I am talking about oxygen, so earlier it was having an oxidation state of -1. In product, it has oxidation state of -2 also, and it has oxidation state of 0 also. मतलब oxidation state बढ़ी भी है and कम भी हुई है, right? It has increased also and decreased also. Decreased to -2 and increased to 0. So simultaneously only one element, that is oxygen, has increased the oxidation state and decreased also. So that's why we call it as a disproportionation reaction. So of course one of the reacting substance should exist in 3 oxidation state. अगर वो 3 oxidation state में exist कर सकता है तभी ये reaction होगा, right? Like in this case, you see phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine in alkaline medium, they undergo disproportionation. So phosphorus की oxidation state from 0, it is going to -3 and +1. For sulfur from 0 to -2 and +2. कम भी हो रही है, बढ़ भी रही है. And also for chlorine, +1 and -1. Okay. So this is what we have as disproportionation reaction. Now the next thing is very important, which is asked in your exams also. See, these type of reactions also were asked in the NEET exam. If you see the PYQ, okay, I hope all of you have taken the PYQ book. So if you see the PYQ book, in that case, you we'll see कि type of reactions पे भी question पूछे गए हैं. They have asked like which reaction is displacement or which one is disproportionation. So this don't think we know this, okay? You must know the idea behind it as well, okay? So now from NEET point of view, balancing of redox reaction is also important. So there are two methods that we will be discussing. So the first method that we are going to discuss is the oxidation number method, student. So in this particular method, what happens is, see, if you are using any method, the result is going to be same, okay? So that is our choice that what method we are going to use. All right. So in the first method, firstly we have to write correct formula for each reactant and product, okay? Then we need to identify the atoms which are undergoing the change in oxidation number. Means you need to assign the oxidation numbers to all the elements present in the reactant, on the reactant side also and on the product side also. Okay. Then calculate the increase or decrease in oxidation number per atom. पहले पर atom आपने oxidation number का increase or decrease देखना है, and then for the entire molecule or ion in which it occurs. And if that increase or decrease is not equal, okay, then you have to multiply by suitable number so that they become equal. Means you have to make the increase and decrease equal. Okay. Next is ascertain the involvement of ions if the reaction is taking place in water. So we have to add hydrogen ions or hydroxide ions to the expression on the appropriate side so that the total ionic charges of the reactants and products are equal. Now, if we are having acidic solutions, we need to add hydrogen ions. If we are having basic solutions, we need to have hydroxide ions. Then we need to make the number of hydrogen atoms in the expression equal by adding water molecules to the reactants and products. And after that, check the number of oxygen atom. If the number of oxygen atom is same, so it means your equation is now balanced. So I know this is sounding a lot confusing, because if we do the example now, then it will be a lot more easy for you to understand. So let's take an example. The question is, write a net ionic equation for the reaction of potassium dichromate. The oxidation number of chromium is 6. With sodium sulfite in acidic solution to form chromium and sulfate ion. So the solution is given here, but I will show you step by step how to do it. So you do with me. So potassium dichromate, हमें सिर्फ ions का लिखना है. So Cr2O7 2 minus plus SO3 minus, sorry 2 minus sulfate, sodium sulfite ले रहे हैं ना हम, and it is giving you chromium ions with 3 oxidation state and sulfate ions. Okay. So students, what you have to do now is, the first step was to write the oxidation number of each element in the compound. So for chromium, it will be plus 6. Now if you are not able to find out the oxidation number, how will you do? See. So chromium के लिए x ले लो, 2x because 2 atoms, and oxygen का you know it's minus 2. And overall charge is minus 2. So 2x, sorry 7 oxygen है ना, so 7. 2x minus 14 is equal to minus 2. So 2x is equal to minus 2 plus 14. 2x will be 12 and x will be plus 6. So आ गया plus 6 for chromium. So oxygen के लिए it's minus 2. Again ऐसे ही sulfur के लिए निकाल लेना, it will be plus 4. Okay, same way, oxygen again minus 2. Here we can see chromium plus 3. Okay, and sulfur here plus 6 and oxygen minus 2. So here I have written the oxidation numbers. Okay, now the next step is see the oxidation number increase or decrease kahan par ho raha hai. So you can see the oxidation number of chromium is decreasing from plus 6 to plus 3. Okay, and अब देखो यहाँ पर कितने का डिक्रीज हो रहा है, 3 का डिक्रीज हो रहा है. ओके, बट firstly you need to see कि number of atoms are equal or not. All right, so what we will do is I will write the equation again. So Cr2O7 2 minus plus SO3 2 minus gives Cr3 plus and SO4 2 plus. So now here you have 2 chromium atoms and on the product side you have only 1. So you need to balance the chromium atoms first. So write 2 in front of chromium. So now लिखो कि total decrease कितना होगा? Total decrease in oxidation number of chromium. तो पहले plus 3 का था, now we have multiplied it with 2, so it becomes plus 6. Okay, इतना decrease हो रहा है, means of course not plus, means 3 into 2 6, 6 का decrease हो रहा है. Now sulfur के लिए the oxidation number is increasing. How much it is increasing? By 2. Okay, it is increasing by 2, so increase in oxidation number of sulfur is 2. So now the next step was कि इस increase और decrease को हमें बनाना है equal. Okay, equal कैसे बनाएंगे? By multiplying it with 3. अगर मैं इसको 3 से multiply कर दूँ, the increase will also become 3. Means I need to have 3 sulfur atoms. Alright, so I will write 3 in front of the SO3 2 minus. Okay, next step में balance the sulfur atoms. So sulfur atoms balance करने के लिए I will write 3 in front of sulfate ion also. Clear इतना? Right? तो हमने क्या किया? Firstly हमने देखा decrease in oxidation number for chromium was 3. Okay, plus 6 it was decreasing to plus 3. So, but there we need to balance the chromium atom. Firstly, we balance the chromium atoms. Then we saw total decrease in the oxidation number of chromium would be like if for one chromium atom it is 3, For 2 chromium atoms, the decrease would be 6. And the increase in oxidation number of sulfur was 2, from +4 to +6. Okay, for sulfur. But we need to make it equal, so we have multiplied it with 3 on the reactant and product side to make the sulfur atoms equal. Now you need to balance the oxygen atoms. So for balancing the oxygen atoms, now students add H2O जहाँ पे भी कम है, so on right hand side. Now let's count the oxygen atom. Here I am having 7, 3 3s are 9, 7 plus 9, 16 oxygen on the reactant side, and 3 4s are 12 oxygen on the product side. Okay, oxygen. इसको zero मत समझना, it's oxygen. So it means I need to have 4 more oxygen on the product side. So I will add 4 H2O on right hand side. So let's write the equation again. So it will become 3SO3 2 minus gives 2Cr3 plus sulfate ion plus 4H2O. So when I have written 4H2O, the equation has become number of oxygen atoms have now become equal. Okay, see, chromium is equal, sulfur is equal, oxygen is equal, we are left with hydrogen are not equal. So to make hydrogen atoms equal, balance hydrogen atoms. Now this reaction, remember, it was having, or it was going on in acidic medium. So I told you, if the reaction is going on in acidic medium, we need to add hydrogen ions. By adding, how many hydrogen ions I have to add? There are 8 hydrogen, na? So I'll be adding 8 hydrogen ions on left hand side. Okay, so I will write Cr2O7 2 minus plus 3SO3 2 minus plus 8H positive. So this is going to be the balanced equation now. Okay, so this is how we have balanced the equation using oxidation number method. So we have written oxidation number first, then total increase and decrease, calculate kiya, made it equal. Then we have balanced oxygen atom by adding water, and then by hydrogen atoms by adding a hydrogen ion, since the reaction was happening in acidic medium. Clear, students? So you can do some reactions for basic medium also. Okay, don't worry, when we will do the revision, we will solve some more reactions. So next is the half reaction method. इसको हम ion method भी कहते हैं. Okay, because in this particular reaction, what we do is, in this particular method, we write the two half equations separately. उनको separately balance करते हैं. We will balance those equations separately and then add them together. Okay, so let's say if I have to balance the equation where oxidation of Fe2 plus ions is happening to Fe3 plus ions by the dichromate ions, and dichromate ions are reduced to chromium ions, Cr3 plus. So first of all, you have to write the balanced equation, and this reaction is also happening in acidic medium, क्योंकि acidic and basic medium के लिए at the end जाके जो steps हैं वो अलग हो जाते हैं. Okay, so first is Fe2 plus dichromate ion gives Fe3 plus chromium ion. Okay, this is unbalanced equation. Separate the equations into half reactions. So of course Fe2 plus will give you Fe3 plus. Abhi we are not writing the number of electrons, okay, because we don't know. Chromate ions, dichromate ions are changing to chromium ions. And then write the oxidation number for all of them. Again, just like we did for the oxidation number method. So for iron it's easy, +2 +3. Again dichromate mein, you know, for chromium it's +6 -2, and chromium is +3. Okay, so these are the oxidation half and reduction half reactions that I have written. Next, third step, balance the atoms other than oxygen and hydrogen. So oxygen और hydrogen को छोड़ के बाकी सब reaction atoms को we will be balancing. Okay, so if I am talking about the oxidation half reaction, let's see, this is already balanced, no? Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus iron atoms are already equal. If I write it here, it is already equal, so we are not doing anything in it. But the reduction half reaction, +6 -2 +3. Chromium atoms were not equal, so we have multiplied Cr3 plus by 2. Okay, so we need to multiply it with 2. That is the next step. Now, if the reaction is like happening in acidic medium, so what we are doing is we are adding H2O to balance the oxygen atoms. Okay, just like we did in the last step. See, after separating the reactions, the steps are going to be same only that we did for oxidation number method. Okay. Alright, so how many oxygen atoms I needed? 7. So that's why we have added firstly 7 H2O on the product side. Now I have added 7 H2O, so now I need 14 hydrogen ions on the reactant side. So I will be writing 14H on the reactant side. See, this is what we have done. Okay. Now that you have done it, you need to add the electrons to one side of the half reaction to make it balance. Okay, to balance the charges, of course, charge balance करने के लिए भी तो लिखना पड़ेगा ना. So like if Fe2 plus is changing to Fe3 plus, तो here charge is +2, here it's +3. तो इसको हम +2 बनाएंगे by adding an electron. Okay. So this is what we have done for the oxidation half reaction. For reduction, now let's go back to the reduction half reaction. So here now what was like what are the charges that we need to balance in this case? So here chromium was in +6 oxidation state and here it is in +3. All right, and here you have -2, here you have +1 for hydrogen. All right, that's it. Okay, now if you see the net charge, all right, on the reduction half reaction, 12 positive charge on the left hand side and only 6 positive charge on the right hand side. So let's see if I am talking about this one. So here you have 2 chromium atom now. So we just need to see for chromium only because here you have 12 positive charge and here you have 6 positive charge. All right, so means you need 6 electrons. So I'll be adding 6 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स ऑन द लेफ्ट हैंड साइड ताकि वो 12 minus 6 हो जाए. ओके, 12 minus 6 6. So now it's equal. Now next step is you need to equalize the number of electrons. So here you have 6 electrons, here you have 1. So you have to multiply this equation by 6. So it will become 6 Fe2 positive gives 6 Fe3 positive plus 6 electrons. Now that you have equalized the number of electrons, you have to add. Just the electrons will get cancelled and you will get the balanced equation. Okay. So next you have to verify the equation that it contains the same type and number of atoms and same charges on both the sides. Okay. So students, this was the reaction for the acidic medium. What if the reaction is happening in the basic medium? So what we are going to do is, again the balance the atom as done in acidic medium. Okay, balance तो हम वैसे ही करेंगे. Now, for each hydrogen ion, okay, whatever hydrogen ion we are having, we have to add an equal number of hydroxide ions to both sides of the equation so that it becomes equal. Okay. So और जहाँ पर हाइड्रोजन एंड हाइड्रोक्साइड आयंस एक साथ आ जाएं, where they come together, we will be just writing them as H2O. Okay, this is the difference for the acid and the basic medium reaction. Okay, we can take some examples also, try to solve some equations by solving these reactions because balancing is important by both the method oxidation number and half reaction method as well. All right. So this is it from my side for redox reactions. We have covered all the topics that are asked in the NEET examination. So try to watch the complete video lecture and understand each and everything. In case you are not able to understand anything, you want me to explain you something else, so as I always say, please do comment below and I will make a separate lecture for that if you have not understood anything. All right students, but you need to comment there also. If you are commenting ki what are the doubts you are having, then only I can do. And one more thing, our PYQ book is like out now, so get your own versions of the our MemoNeet only NTA PYQ book, because for preparation of NEET examination, PYQs are most important, and we have given you crisp and detailed explanation for all of them. You know all the features, right? So it's having all the questions from 2019 to 2024 also, it is included. Crisp and detailed explanation are there. Chapter wise, topic wise segregation we have done, so that you don't have to find or like find any type of questions. So see, like you are doing redox reactions, open the chapter redox reactions in chemistry book. Topic wise every question is given. Ki like for balancing the redox reactions, कौन से questions have been asked in NEET. So that's all features you will get in our PYQ book. So make sure you are getting your versions of PYQ book for all the 3 subjects, okay? Because I also tell you ki once you learn this chapter, you have to go through the NCRT questions and then the PYQs. Then your complete preparation will be done, okay? And don't forget to practice the questions present on the MemoNeet app. Alright students, so I will see you all with the next chapter, that is chemical kinetics. Until then, complete this chapter as well. Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye.